sister.
So, my roommates are of the drinking age. One of them's got a pot of spaghetti, not a plate. The whole pot.
You eat spaghetti on a plate? No, you eat it in a bowl.
No, you don't.
My family always eats spaghetti in a bowl.
Well, your family's wrong.
No, you're wrong.
I'm Italian.
Well, it's better in a bowl if you want to not make a mess.
That's true.
Well, I'm classy.
Pasta is a...
Well, that's your fault.
Pasta is a bowl food. Fight me.
Anyways, I'm the only non-inebriated person here.
I support Lucas and his pot of noodles.
Me too.
So
You are
this
Lucas
whole
and his pot of
episode is my friends talking. My roommate's giving y'all advice about life, while I do concept art for silent transmission. Please audition. Please, dear God.
Do it. I dare you.
You better, or I'm gonna pour my pot of spaghetti on you.
Do it,
And
cowards.
you don't want that.
Nah.
It's pretty spicy.
Ooh.
He likes it spicy.
I like it spicy.
He likes it too.
So here's the problem with this concept, Lauren. No one should model their life after mine.
This might be true, but I feel
I
like
have no good advice to give.
that's a lie.
Well, that's your prerogative.
I feel like you're being a dirty liar to me.
How dare you accuse me of that?
So, you guys used to be in theater
That is correct, Amundo.
Yeah, forever.
forever. So tell me how to act. How is that process?
I don't know, I feel like anything that I say is going to be offensive to actual actors. I feel like you think about your moment before, which is like, you have to think about where your character would be, not like physically, well maybe physically too, but also emotionally, in their like state of mind, right before the play or whatever starts, so that you get a context for where they are and how they're going to act. And you need to have background information that only you know in mind that influences how you play the character.
Yeah. And like, you should always get in the headspace, not just of the character itself, but even before that, get out of your headspace. Very important. Do like the little theater exercises or some of the improv games, things like that. Or if like you don't have the time for that, just breathing is always good, so that you can just sort of get into a neutral space, and then you get into your character, and it makes it more pure.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to like try things. Like, I was a chorus member in a musical production that we did in our high school, and I remember there was one point in which all the chorus members were sort of sprinkling out onto the stage in like a slow, what's the word? I don't know. But we're all like coming out, and like you have to play that different ways because it looks weird if everyone's just marching in, right? So I was kind of leaning into how nervous and shy I was naturally, and like letting that bleed into my character. And so this girl like reached out her hand for mine, and we just ended up doing that every time, which is a fun character choice that showed a little fun, quirky background thing.
Yeah.
So, you both, well, Lucas is not an English major.
No.
No.
I'm not even going to school this semester.
You dirty, dirty whore.
I'm working.
He is working.
He's a working man.
He's a working lad.
So we all like English as a language, a concept.
I mean, it's just all I've ever known, really.
So I feel like...
I feel like at some point we were children, and we were writing stories, and we were like, I like reading. Writing should be fun, and you do it, and someone was like, you're a really good writer, and you're like, that's gonna be my job now. I think that's what it was for me.
For me, it was like, I read The Babysitter's Club, and I was like, someone had to write that, right? I could do that.
I could
Ooh,
do
fun
that.
new job opportunity.
Yeah.
What I was trying to say is I feel like since we are connoisseurs of the English language...
Are we, Lauren? Are we?
Bitch, I'm published.
No. That's not what connoisseur means, bitch.
I am slightly above average on the goings-on of text.
We are cultured.
I haven't read a book for like years.
You're ruining my whole next topic here. Could you not be yourself for 5 minutes?
5 minutes.
Anyways, you were asking.
I feel like we have some good book recommendations.
Okay, sure we do.
What are your favorite books and why?
I liked We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. It has the Woollawa, the lesbians. They might be bi. I don't know. I don't remember exact terminology. But it's also really beautifully written. And I read it at a time where I was sad, and the character was sort of sad in a similar way. And I was like, hey, the Spider-Man meme. I also really like what's it called? I don't remember. Wilder Girls by Rory Power. It's like Lord of the Flies, but if they were all teenage girls with a disease that mutated their bodies to have fins or gills, or they're not all fish related, but you get my point. The point is, it's a good book.
Lucas?
Spoonful. I really like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the whole thing. You can't read just one. Read all 6 of them, including the Oinkolfer one after Douglas Adams died, because it's still good. Because they're all absurd. They're real world. I mean, at least in the first part. But then, it's just these just weird group of people going on crazy adventures in space. But not crazy, not Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that. It's just there's so many things where it's so mundane, and then it turns into the world is just dying. And I love it. It's so great. All the characters have amazing personalities, and it's just written so well. And then I like all of the Percy Jackson books. I haven't read the latest. I don't know how many. I've read the first 2 series of books, so the first 10 of the Percy Jackson related Greek and Roman mythology thing. And I assume the others are good too, but I really liked the first just because the mythology of it, but in a young adult fiction sort of setting, is very nice.
I have more. I forgot. I recently, not recently, it was months ago now, but I read this book. It's a young adult novel called One of Us is Lying. And there are 4 main characters. And it's a young adult murder mystery novel, but found family. We love to see it, am I right? And it also has a sequel called One of Us is Next, which is also really good. I think they're making a TV show, or they were before COVID. I'm not sure about it anymore. Also, Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky makes me cry every time I read it. I don't know if I say his name right.
If you cry every time.
And I like the Unwound Dystology. It's a very good sci-fi sort of dystopian book series. And I like it because it's not the normal sort of the other ones, they all the ones that you would read at school, things like The Giver, or what are other dystopian books?
1984?
Yeah, 1984, Fahrenheit 451. They're I don't know, they're not, they're all adults, except for The Giver. But it deals with sort of adult issues, but in a perspective that just doesn't feel, I don't know, it feels like it's trying to get the theme across more than it is telling a certain story. Mm-hmm. But the Unwound Dystology, it's one of those that jumps around perspectives, so there's multiple main characters, and you know, there'll be different chapters with the heading of one of the characters' names, and that's the point of view you're reading from at that time. And, like, they're all teenagers. And, like, they're just in this world where, like, if, you know, you're deemed to be not, like, good for society, then your parents, when you turn, like, I think it's like 13 or something, your parents can decide, well, this is the last straw, and instead of, like, sending you to military school, you get unwound, which is basically they just, like, you know, imagine unwinding, but for a person, well, you're just taking the person apart, and then they become donors for the people, so they're, like, helping people even though they weren't that good for society at the beginning.
Oh, so it's eugenics.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's fun. But
okay, to be clear, eugenics not fun. It's a good book with a good message.
It's
about don't do eugenics.
Yeah, because everyone is like, oh yeah, this is good, and then the teenagers are like, dude, what the hell?
No, please.
And so then, like, you know, young adult stuff occurs. Just, you know, let's stop this. Let's do a revolt. All that nonsense.
But yeah, we as a household do not support eugenics.
No, we don't.
Okay. Lauren, what are you enjoying most so far about creating Silent Transmission?
Well, for one, I like creating the concept art, which is a weird thing because I am not the visual director of Silent Transmission. By the way, my friend Dani's gonna be the visual director. I don't think I ever mentioned that in anything that I posted about Silent Transmission. But anyways, she's an amazing artist. We love her. We support her. She has her own comic. I'll leave the link in the description. Point being, I'm technically not, like, my art style will not be the one that is featured. But I'm making all the concept art.
That's good.
But I also like listening to the auditions. But it's also kind of a love-hate relationship because I'm like, I love these sexy voices, but also, ooh, my writing vocalized.
Your writing is good.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I feel like, but that's every author though.
Yeah. I still need to make my audition because I'm gonna audition, I guess.
I guess I have to.
I guess if I must.
If I must humor Lauren in her time of need.
It's a cool thing that you're doing.
Thank you, boo.
The weather in Santa Fe, New Mexico is 46 degrees Fahrenheit.
We do not live in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
No. I was told not to look up where we live, so I've looked up other places.
Gotta throw him off the set.
Exactly.
Boom, 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 boom,
Stranger
boom.
danger, Lucas.
Danger. So,
yes.
we should all talk about our writing styles. I feel like that's a very interesting topic.
Okay. Who wants to go first?
You write poetry, Lexi.
I do. I also write fiction sometimes.
But mostly poetry.
It depends, really. I've been in a very poetry mood the last couple of years. But it switches around.
It's like your taste buds.
Yeah.
Flavor.
Poetry, I tend to draw from very personal and like emotional responses and experiences. And I don't do a lot of structured poetry for the most part. Not a lot of like, I don't do a lot of like rhyming poetry, for instance, or a lot of iambic pentameter or whatever. It's a lot of free verse.
Yeah, my writing tends to be, like I said, my favorite book is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And so I think my writing tends to be much more absurd while I'm writing it. I like to sort of paint the picture. So I try to, like, you know, there are just random moments where I decide to write out something so that you can get, like, a rhythm going, even when it's a normal story. And like not poetry, just to get like the feeling down and stuff. But yeah, so I'm always just trying. Mine's like weird, unique writing.
Do we have Unreal? Do we have the magazine?
I mean, I can go get it.
Please read Unreal to us.
Yeah.
I know I love Suicide Cupcake, but Unreal is my favorite thing that Lucas has ever written. I was so on board with it.
Yeah, so I wrote this, like, I forget what it was. Mr. Stripling was just, like, write a surrealism.
Oh,
Like-
I don't remember the phrase anymore, but it was like, the prompt was to like write something like so like bizarre and abstract, and it was like based on this certain phrase where it was basically like things start off normal and then just like you're suddenly dropped into a really weird point.
Yeah. And so, and he gave us, like, 20 minutes, and I ended up writing this. The sunlight filtered through the high windows of the mile-deep bunker, casting lacy shadows across the darkness. 2 children shivered in the corners of the hot circular abode, and alone on the wall sat a dead toy pony, neighing in the middle of the room. He wanted it, but it didn't exist. He didn't exist. So the boy took the donkey, and the girl said no. She understood. They fought. 3 lived, and 2 died. Then the door locked, swinging open to reveal Tom. They were all Tom. Everything was Tom in his mind, except for himself.
Gosh, it's so good.
What does it mean? What does it all mean?
What does it all mean?
Does it matter?
I love it. It's good.
It is good.
Yeah. I want to keep writing, what is it? Something's wrong.
Yeah, with your D&D characters.
Yeah, our D&D story. But like, I don't know. I just haven't gotten back to it.
Back into the swang.
Yeah.
I need a name for the short story that I'm gonna write because I have a pretty good idea of what I'm gonna write, and I know what I want to base the name around. Is everything okay?
Mm-hmm.
I know what I want to base the name around, but like I don't want it to just. So I want it to be like a riff on Samson and Delilah because like there's a haircutting scene that is important because it's basically this woman, like cutting her husband's hair as she's telling him that she's leaving him. But I don't want it to just be like Samson and Delilah.
Yeah.
But it's like at her salon. Actually, I haven't decided yet if it's gonna be if she like works at a salon or if it's just something she's doing at home.
They work at a butcher's. Can use a butcher knife. Oh, why are you drawing on my tablet, Pilbear?
He wants to help with the concept art.
He's an artist.
Help with the artist.
He's a baby artist.
He's a chunky little man.
Lauren, what's different about having a cat versus having dogs?
Well, cat is small. Cat is warm.
Cat is warm.
Cat I feel is easier to take care of. But cat also does not smile. Ever. So you will never know if he truly loves you or if he just wants to kill you.
He's just very guarded is all.
He's a very socially awkward little man.
But that's why you love him.
He didn't go to preschool. He did not get all that social interaction.
He didn't get all his socialization. You should tell them the story of you picking him up at the shelter.
Alright.
Yeah.
So, I was like, I'm gonna be impulsive. I'm gonna get a cat.
Even though you'd been talking about it
Yes.
for like a week.
And my roommates were like, maybe you shouldn't get a cat. And I'm like, I'm getting a cat.
But then she threatened to get a snake if she didn't get a cat. And I was like, well, I'm more okay with the cat scenario.
So, I sent in an application to get a kitten because it's my first cat. I didn't want an old cat. Not because I dislike old cats. Since it would be my first cat, I wanted to like go through the stages with them.
Ooh.
So like I could learn better.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a good thing as like a first pet.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent in my application, and they were like, and as we were driving to the shelter, they actually sent me an email that was like, hey, we don't have a lot of kittens left, so you should probably come back later. But I was already there by the time I read the email. I was walking through the door, so I was there anyways. And I was like, show me your finest kittens. So we go in, and we look at all the kittens. The nice one was already taken, of course. You know, the little white one with the black nose.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, aw, cute. And there's this little gremlin that's like sitting outside with a bunch of other cats, and the person showing us is like, oh yeah, we have this cat too, and he like takes him off of the thing and just holds him, and the cat proceeds to run away and hide under the crates, so he could not be pet. And I fell in love with him because of that. And they're like, yeah, I don't think he's gonna get adopted because, you know, he's so socially awkward. He's basically feral at this point. And he's just not a fun cat. And I'm like, that's same. I would also not be a fun cat.
They were like, are you sure that's the one you want?
Yep, he's good.
I can tell.
I can tell. And then we went to the other room where they had another cat. He hissed at us and I was scared, so... Nothing against cats that hiss, but as a new cat owner, I'm like, I don't want that bad juju.
He grabbed your stuff. I almost said stencil.
He grabbed my stylus and so I was like, so then I come back and they're like, yeah, you can come back later when we have more kids. I'm like, no, I want that one. And they're like, why? And I'm like, cause he's good.
He is relatable.
He's relatable. He's an introvert. He'll fit right in. So like Lilo and Lilo and Stitch, I bought the cat. It took them 3 times to get his microchip in because he's stealthy.
He kept squirming away.
He's a little scared boy. And then he came home with us and he did not interact. He didn't eat for like 5 days. And he did not interact with us. Keep in mind, I kept him in a little bathroom by himself. He wasn't allowed to go anywhere else, so he had his own privacy.
He needed to acclimate.
Yeah. And he hated everyone. And now he won't leave me alone.
And I think the real turning point for him bonding with me and Lucas was when Lauren had to go house sit for her parents for a week, so we had to take care of him.
Yeah. So eventually Pillsbury was like, well, I guess you're my parents now.
And Lauren named him Pillsbury because I had been baking cookies in the other room the previous day, and she wanted the name to be thematically relevant.
So his name is Pillsbury Doughboy because he's a cookie.
He's a little cookie. He's a cookie man.
He's a cookie monster.
And he's black with white paws, and he's got a white chest.
And
we love him.
Anyways, please check out my casting call. We need for male voices, female voices, and unidentified gender voices.
Gender, we barely know her.
Kali doesn't know her, apparently.
Kali doesn't know gender. Oh my god, I was thinking about auditioning for Kali. Hey. Me too, Kali.
Yeah, no one's auditioned for them yet.
They're
the one character that has no auditions.
I was gonna. So I guess I need to do that now.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's been fun, y'all.
Yeah.
Please love me.